Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night.
Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Boogeyman Radio. I'm Dave.
I'm Charles.
And tonight, obviously, as you saw in the thumbnail, as you saw in the ad on Facebook and all that good stuff, we are discussing the Skinwalker Ranch. The legend.
What?
The legend. The place is legendary, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think you could be in the paranormal field and not know of Skinwalker Ranch. I mean,
you could know of it, just not know much about it.
Yeah. I mean, you had to have heard of it at some point.
Someone talk about it, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
I wouldn't say, I would say, sorry, I wouldn't, yeah. I don't think there is another place in the United States that's surrounded in so much mystery as Skinwalker Ranch. Aside from Area 51, which is like government installations and like Roswell and stuff, but that kind of goes along with it, you know?
And it's really not that far away from Area 51.
No, but here's the thing. Citizens can't investigate Area 51. Citizens can't really investigate Roswell. People with the right know-how and permissions can investigate, or can visit at least, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, yeah, we have our haunted locations and our weird phenomena and stuff, but this is a whole different beast.
It's a whole new level.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's up, Heather? Hey, Lori.
Like, I can't even think of historical, like, ancient civilization sites that have this much mystery and like when it comes to like paranormal aspects.
Yeah.
Surrounding it. So yeah, I'm so excited to get into this topic and talk about it because
we've got some wild information. Yeah. We have wild information. We have some photos that we'll be showing you guys from Skinwalker Ranch. Some of the stuff that they've documented there.
Yes.
Some of the stories from the people that were there during different time periods. The property's undergone different ownership throughout its time. And when we go do the After Dark on the Patreon page, I'm usually over there. So like, so the Patreon page. So go to the Patreon page, become a Patreon. You get our After Dark show, and we're gonna have some videos for you guys about Skinwalker Ranch and some photos and stuff that are a little more graphic.
A little
bit. It's a little bit.
If I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can't see. If you can't stand seeing the insides of cattle, I probably wouldn't watch it.
Yeah. If you can't go to the butcher
or
the meat section of your local grocery store, don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. It's not good. Hello.
Ron loves Skinwalker Ranch. If you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
I've never been. I'd love to go sometime, but we'll see what happens. So, something interesting, real quick. I didn't know this, but apparently there was either Spanish father or a priest of some sort that was leading a group of people through that area back in like 1776. This was like it had an actual documented experience of a UFO.
Huh.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the Hunt for the Skinwalker documentary.
Interesting.
And I was just like, holy cow. Which, speaking of, obviously, if you haven't watched the documentary, I watched it today. I actually really liked it. Thought it was pretty good. History Channel's TV show, The Secrets of the Skinwalker Ranch. It's good too. It's basically like the continuation of the new investigations of Skinwalker Ranch. So, good shows.
Nice.
Highly recommend them.
real quick, I'm gonna run an ad for the Paracon, and we'll catch up, and then we'll get into our topic. But guys, if you haven't heard, the Haunting History Paracon is coming up this October. It's gonna be banging. Gonna be banging. We'll be right back.
Well, I'm back, but he's not back. But that's okay.
I'm back. I just had some technical issues.
That's
Had to get my cough drops because I don't want to be coughing into the mic all night long. So, get these out.
Cassie, if you subscribe for $25.99 a month, you can skip ads anytime. At least that's how YouTube works. Or how I don't know what their subscription rate is, but we can match it.
I think she was talking about skipping my ad.
I know she was. That's why I was being a dork. And if she paid, never mind.
Very
Anyways,
All right. What about Blind Frog? Yeah, Blind Frog's not too far from Skinwalker Ranch either. I just actually finished up watching the 2 seasons of Blind Frog. I don't know how much of that one's true.
what's Blind Frog?
Blind Frog Ranch.
Never heard of it.
It's on Discovery Plus. Check it out.
Okay.
Kind of goes in hand with the stuff that happens on Skinwalker. They talk about animal mutilations, mysterious sightings like UFOs and stuff like that. And then they have like, I don't want to spoil it all. Just watch it.
And I will say this is the first Halloween season that I'm gonna have Discovery Plus. I am so freaking excited because of all the paranormal like stuff that I can just binge
They're gonna
watch.
throw up there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like don't get me wrong, yeah, I can watch it anytime I want, but everything just hits differently in spooky season. So
Oh yeah.
I'm ready. I'm take me, please.
I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah.
So, how was your week?
Man, it was a good week. Busy.
I know you were pretty busy with
Busy
work.
week. We had
Slamming.
a huge member guest tournament at work. Over, I want to say, 400 people. Most of the week. It was crazy. It's drunk, golf, silly
Woohoo!
fest, and fun times. And it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to go back to work that Sunday on normal work, but it's okay. We survived. It was a very dragging day, but that's okay.
I feel you.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, last night we did our Two Drunk Fucks show, which was nice. Our reaction live stream, that was great.
The longest live stream
ever that
ever
we've done. So
that
I had to tap out at like what was it, 3 in the morning?
3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I was done. We started at 7 p.m. by the way. It was crazy.
We went like 10 hours. It was
But
pretty...
it's a lot of fun because we do Mad Libs, we do some trivia. In the past, we've done the Mandela Effect cards too, so it was great. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys want to watch some more weird shenanigans, just head on over to the channel 2 Drunk FUX. Get it?
for adults.
And it's just for adults only show. But it's a great time. And if you ever have any like music video reactions, sometimes we'll do comedy skits depending on how stupid and funny they are.
Yeah.
And if we don't get obviously kicked from the live stream, damn it, Bush.
Oh, yeah. Damn you, Bush.
But it was great. It was awesome. So audio, I can hear him, but it's faint. Okay, maybe here. Hold on. I got this. I'll change this.
Mine's blaring.
Yeah, exactly.
I got my mic like right here.
Is that any better? Might be a little bit better now. I just moved my mic a little bit closer. But
Get
yeah,
all of
my
it.
week was great. How about you?
Mine was good. I quit my job today. Quit my job. So there's that. Had a big thing happen. I got a loan. I got approved for a loan, and so I got to sign the paperwork for that tomorrow. So like I am rolling right now. Like I am on it.
What are you on?
Huh?
That's good. That's Halls. Yeah. He's on cough drops, guys. Be careful.
They're imported from Mentholyptus.
Oh
It's
god.
it's this place in the Alps. Very secluded.
Straight from the island of Mentolympitis.
Uh-huh.
Mentolympitis?
Unemployed? Rock. Fuck yeah.
Rock.
No, it was planned. I planned. Like I didn't just like up and quit because like fuck, I don't want to work here anymore. I mean, it kind of did.
100% of planned unemployment.
100.
Oh no, my microphone fell off. Sorry.
What are you doing?
My microphone fell off, so I have to adjust it again real quick.
Silly microphone.
It's still a little microphones. There we go. Maybe.
You should do the whole show in your Valley Girl.
No. Not this one. Not this show.
Yes, it would make it hilarious.
It would make it hilarious. but I'm not
Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch. You see those skelly little skinwalkers walking in the distance over there?
Silly little Skinwalker.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there, of course. But no, I'm ready for this show. Let's get it.
All
Let's
right.
get it going. You gonna sell feet pics, Dave? Cassie wants to know.
I'll give you my OnlyFans in a little bit. So it's called Only Feet.
Only feet? Oh God.
Hey, if it works, it works. You can't, don't hate the hustle.
No judgment here, okay? No judgment from me.
Don't hate the hustle.
What is it? We support all single mothers. Yeah. Anyways.
I play Beyonce while like showing my feet, kicking my feet.
Do you wrap them in lace, like pretty colors? And
Sometimes I paint my nails glittery and shit like that. Light some candles in the background, just out of focus.
This is like our Pope rant last night with WWE. Ah, good times.
I know this much is true.
I don't know what you were talking about.
It's an 80s song.
Well, I figured, but that was random.
Yeah, I just started thinking about it like if I was doing like feet things and having music in the background. I'd like have the most feminine feet and nobody would know it was a dude until like 1 year into it. I just start panning up and there's like hair on the legs and shit and I'm like, surprise, motherfuckers.
Cassie, you started this. You started this, okay?
YouTube makeup tutorials. Hey, you know what I might do? Some tutorials for Halloween makeup though.
Ooh, good idea. I like that.
I thought about that. I'm not like great at it, but I'm pretty good for doing it cheap. So
Better than nothing.
I've got a Skinwalker picture that
Oh.
that's my profile picture on Facebook. So I guess you can call it a Skinwalker. Might as well.
Might as well.
So tell everybody about Skinwalker Ranch, would you, Charles? For those that don't know.
I mean, I guess.
You're like, what?
I'm gonna butcher the name. What's the valley?
Are you gonna make me look that shit up?
Wow.
All right.
Hold on. Pulling it up right now.
I hate that it goes directly to the fucking show instead of actually giving you the information.
Yeah, it's yeah. All right, so Skinwalker Ranch, also known as Sherman Ranch, is a property of approximately 512 acres, located southeast of Ballard, Utah, that is reputed to be the site of paranormal and UFO-related activities. For its name is taken from the Skinwalker of Navajo legend concerning our vengeful shaman. Anyways, we know that but it's
The Utah.
Uinta Basin. So, literally, this basin has over 2,000 at least sightings of UFOs in history. But there was a gentleman who actually went through and interviewed a lot of these people, and he reduced it down to like 400 something claims that were not very well, like that claims that couldn't be explained. Other people, they mistaken them for actual like regular planes or lights or whatever. But there's a heavy UFO presence in this area, very heavy, and it's it's not too far from other places with heavy UFO presences too. So something about this area just has a magnetic feeling. Some people say something about it just. It's very different compared to like a lot of other places, but it's this huge chunk, and I want to say it's in northeastern Utah where a lot of this stuff happens. So it's very, very interesting. So this guy, he tried to do a documentary back in like 2005. He went there with a whole team, did a bunch of research, and made a documentary. Well, someone approached him and told him like, hey, you cannot release any of this stuff at all. But then when the Freedom of Information Act was signed in 2017, a lot of this information was actually able to be let out to the public, and that spawned the documentary Hunt for the Skinwalker, which is on Discovery Plus. Like I said, I recommend it. It's really good. Highly recommend you check it out. But there's a lot of wild stuff there that happens, not just UFOs, but you have your random light phenomena, your phantom lights. You have cattle mutilations, random creatures, cryptids, weird, just different things that happen there.
Ghosts,
yeah, ghosts happening. Like, this is a very big hotspot for paranormal activity and phenomena. So
it's like everything rolled into one place. It's kind of crazy. And there's also a couple homesteads that are on the ranch,
which look like they're straight from a freaking like horror movie.
Yeah. A lot of the ghostly activity seems to be happening in the homesteads, primarily. Everything from seeing like just shadow figures to actually, one of the reports was a security guard, seeing a Native American man in one of the homes, and he estimated that the guy was probably around 50 years old, or looked like he was like 50 years old, but saw him in the homestead and the guy disappeared.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Now I've got a lot of reports and stuff from Skinwalker Ranch, from the actual employees and things like that. And we also have lists of the entities that they've experienced there. So what do we want to get into first? Do we want to do some stories?
Well, okay. Yeah, let's get into some of the first-hand accounts. You have all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I can pull that up right quick.
Yeah, you have let's start off with some of the people's accounts and the stories first, and then we can get into Robert Bigelow, his ownership, the NIDS, stuff like that.
Okay. Let's see. Look at this. I just had it. Dang it. That's the entities. That's just newspaper articles. I just had like this thing that had like the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, George Knapp was the guy who did a bunch of the documentary stuff back in 2005. That's what I couldn't think of it. And it was actually also back in 2005 that a book was released, and I think it was by the exact same name, that put Skinwalker Ranch really on the map as far as paranormal things go. So that's what really happened first, and then after that, like, it started to gain more attention with other people. But before then, our government had actually been investigating this area for quite some time, and they couldn't even determine what was happening. The program that happened back in, oh gosh, I can't tell you the exact year that the Pentagon's program started or how long it happened, but they have direct ties to phenomena that happened on the Skinwalker Ranch. So yeah, the government was tied into the area of Skinwalker Ranch for a while.
I forgot I saved this folder. I have to unzip it and all that crap.
Hey, Carl.
Give me just a second. We're so underprepared, but it's whatever. You guys will bear with us, right? Right? Extract all. Okay. So these are incident reports back when Robert Bigelow of Bigelow Aerospace had control over the property. Bigelow, he bought the property because he wanted to study the paranormal effects that were occurring on the property. A lot of his findings and everything were kept secret, and a lot of it still is secret. But the reports that I have here are from the guards. These are some of the incidents that are of note, and I think they're pretty fascinating too. This one here, let me open. Come on, Word. Wow. Okay, so this is a dog incident. August 23rd of 2019. Due to periodic rain and the presence of lightning, this is written by Thomas Corshane. It's a summary report of the incident on August 23rd, in which Max and Ruka, our two black labs, escaped from their runner under what seemed at the time to be rather unusual circumstances. So anyway, August 23rd, due to periodic rain and the presence of lightning, Mark and I posted out together in the SUV at the beginning of the shift at around 9 p.m. MST. Is that Mountain Time?
I'm gonna say so, but I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Son of a bitch. Or we'll add some ambience to this too. Well, there we go. So while they went out in the SUV at the beginning of the shift, about 9 p.m., Mark and I returned to the homestead number 1 for water and batteries when I noticed that the dogs were gone. Upon closer investigation, we were taken back by the fact that Ruka seemed to have just been set free. Max's line was pulled on with such strength that it bent the steel hook that the runner was attached to, and the hook connecting the wire to his collar was gone. We immediately took photos of the runners and the damage caused and swept the immediate area extensively for unfamiliar footprints, but found nothing. We then began a foot sweep of the area from Homestead 1 to the area south of Run 1 because the cows were discontent but didn't see the dogs there. We terminated our search for the dogs, figuring they would just come back in a few hours. Apparently, they have a history of getting free and disappearing for a couple hours at a time. We returned to the east gate. At 10 p.m., Mark said he saw a blue LED light coming from the mesa adjacent to Homestead 1. We expedited back to Homestead 1 and using NVG and spotlights, completed a detailed search of the area, but did not locate anything along the mesa. Mark could have been mistaken, or the individuals could have fled the scene in the face of our rapid response. Whew.
You good?
There you go.
Take a breath there.
They continued monitoring, did not reveal any additional activity in that area. At midnight, we left the east gate en route to patrol the west side of the ranch when we were ambushed by the very wet and happy duo of Max and Ruka. Max's hook was indeed still on his collar. We spoke to Gene and Richard about the incident. They both stated that they had not released the dogs from their leads, nor had they heard or seen anyone near the dogs. Gene stated that both dogs had been barking for the past 2 nights, on both occasions focusing their attention on the area of the mesa. Over the next 3 days, the dogs had repeatedly shown an ability to get off their hooks simply by twisting or turning the right way. If one gets off the lead, the other does everything they can to get off as well. Mark and I, while feeding the dogs, actually witnessed Max turn to face Mark, and his hook came off as easily as if I bent over and released him. So Richard has tried much to his frustration to secure the dogs, but they seem to get out every time. We are currently working on solutions to the problems that wouldn't hamper their ability to move around, yet secure them to the runner without fail. Let's see. Yeah, so that was something that they were having issues with. The dogs would be getting off their leashes, and that was just their explanation that they were twisting, but the hook on one of them was still on them, which is a weird thing.
Yeah.
But they were talking about seeing the light up on the mesa, and the mesa, if you've ever watched the Skinwalker show on TV, they talk about the lights, the beams of lights that come from the mesa. There's a lot of, if I remember correct, there's some areas that have like some kind of radiation or some kind of radio frequency coming from the mesa. So the mesa is a hotbed. It's a hot spot on the property.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I hadn't heard that story. That's pretty good. It's pretty crazy. Do they live on the ranch?
Yeah, a lot of times the security would stay there. They'd use the homesteads.
Do you have more to add to the story? To that story specifically?
No.
I'm gonna say one here real quick. So,
Go ahead.
When the Shermans owned the farm, there's two stories that I'd like to talk about, but I'll talk about one for now. The second one I kind of want to wait until later to talk about, which involves a brutal cattle mutilation. But so when the Shermans had the farm, they were very worried about their livestock because basically, if they lost more cattle, it would be a huge business loss for them because they're trying to run a business. Now, I will say every cattle mutilation that happened was different. Yeah. There was no instance on of all the tests and the sightings, the experiences. No instance was ever the same. It was all different instances. It may have had the same sort of oh yeah, it was a cattle mutilation, but it happened differently in a different manner. I remember Robert Bigelow actually talking about how whatever was there was in control of the situation and was one step ahead at every moment. Where they would think something had happened, or something would happen, they would prepare for it the next time, but then something completely different would happen in a different way. Yes. So they were never prepared for any of this stuff to happen. It would all just happen at different times, different ways. Whatever it was very intelligent, knew what was happening, and knew it was being watched. So keep that in mind.
Now, something real quick I want to throw in there. When the guy that owns it now bought the place, he was actually warned not to dig.
Yeah.
Which I think that's pretty fascinating. It's why would you be warned that?
Yeah.
But if you watch the show...
Yeah,
you start seeing some
exactly. So the documentary that was filmed back in 2005, based off of the book, they actually decided to do everything they could to try to stir up activity because the reporter that went in there, it was George Knapp, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He tried to stir up all the activity that he could to get things to happen, so that way he could document it. They started tearing down, rustling some trees, tearing down, building a fire. They actually dug into the earth with an excavator. They did some other stuff too that I can't think of, but they did everything they could to try to get it. And then George actually isolated himself, I believe, in the mesa, but I'm not 100% sure. But nothing happened. Huh. He was there and nothing happened. It was whatever it was knew that they were trying to capture it on whatever, and it did nothing. So, interesting, I thought. But that story I was going to tell you about with the Shermans, they had 4 bulls, and this the reason why I kind of went off on a tangent is because they were talking talking to themselves in a car, and there was these 4 bulls kind of in a what's like just an open, it's a corral, I think.
Yeah.
Just like in an open gated area where the bulls would be, and they were talking amongst themselves about how these bulls were the last like big money makers of the ranch, and if anything happened to them, they would lose so much. So they come back towards the other way like an hour later, and they don't see the bulls anywhere. So they're pretty much like they start freaking out. They can't figure out where the bulls are, so they go over to another corral and they're not there or whatever. And off of a hunch, they decide to open this little bitty, like, it looks like a trailer. It looks like a small trailer that has a few ways in, but the specific way in that the bulls were in one corral that would only get into this trailer by a door that had a knob latch where it would turn, and it would just kind of like a bar that would go across the door. So, and that was chained up, by the way. So they get there, and the chain was undisturbed. So he opened it up, and these bulls are literally crammed inside this trailer. And I guess he yelled back to his wife, and it broke like the bulls out of a daze, and they just started freaking out while inside of this trailer. And they just like started kicking and hitting the trailer and the doors, when finally one of the doors opened on a different side, and it gave way and they were able to get out. Well, they did some more research and stuff. One of the fence poles that was lining the corral was actually completely magnetized. Yeah, they took a reader to it, and it was just completely magnetized, just this one section. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. But
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that with the magnification of the fence posts. So the board camp crystal mine had something happen there to that extent where there was like the beams of light on top of the hill.
yeah,
The lights went up 300 feet, was cut off at the top as if it were hitting something up there in the sky. But they were there for 10 seconds and then gone. And when they went up there, they found all their tools and fence posts were all magnetized.
it's interesting. Energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're still magnetized to this day.
Well, it makes you think with that magnetization, what you were saying about energy being light being observed. What if it's the same about energy? If you could observe energy, and if it was intelligent, why wouldn't it change its patterns or whatever? But yes, that story to me was interesting. But there's another one that's way more gruesome that I'll save for the after dark. So sorry, my friends.
So I just pulled up this report list. This is from Bigelow Ranch when it was Bigelow owned. These are some observations by security, and it lists like where and what happened. So like this is all within a year. Yeah, about a year's time. Let's go to actually no, there's over 585 reports on this page.
Jesus.
On this. These are just some of the reports that these security guards have had. They don't list the time for some reason. They're all at midnight or noon. So this first one's at the east gate of Bigelow Ranch. The security guard observed 2 separate circles of yellowish light, approximately 24 inches in diameter, illuminate for 2 to 3 seconds in trees approximately 12 feet away. And then again at homestead number 2, a security guard had his mag light illuminate and extinguish when verbalizing questions at the homestead. So basically he was ghost hunting. And it's all got documented on digital video and voice recorders. One of Bigelow's investigators observed several 8 to 10 small white lights illuminate for less than 2 seconds and maneuver similar to lightning bugs near the southern tree line. These next two are at Homestead 1. Security guard smelled perfume for 2 to 3 seconds upon entering Homestead 1. Security guard exits the gate and returns to find the chain hanging at a 45-degree angle with the spring latch attached to the gate fencing. So if it's hanging, normally it's going to go straight down. This was off to an angle at a 45. During the afternoon, Mark exited the gate from inside the Homestead 1 yard to grab something from the vehicle. When he returned to the enter the gate, he observed the spring-loaded chain latch had connected to the gate fencing wire at a 45-degree angle from hanging vertically. Max claims he observed the chain swing to rest in a normal hanging straight down manner when he turned his back to enter the vehicle. Which, I mean, if you turn your back, you're not going to witness that.
Right.
But a lot of these things that they're reporting, like this one, observes a blinking, almost fluorescent blue orb darting around within 25 feet of his position for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. This isn't like 10 seconds. It's not like 3 seconds where it's like, oh, there it is, and there it goes. It's 2 minutes, man. That's a long time when you're seeing stuff.
That's a very long time.
They said the speed was fast enough to be a blur at times. The distance from him was 10 to 25 feet. Altitude 2 to 10 feet from the ground. The effects it was just fast enough to leave a blur trail, which that's pretty amazing because it's not a lightning bug, number one. And then a couple days earlier, security guard heard deep, loud, distinct guttural snarls and growls. They lasted for 2 to 3 seconds. Notably, there were 2 dogs present that were nearby. The dogs did not react, and the ambient sounds around them didn't change. Then a month before that, a security guard observed a human form on the mesa transition into a wolf form, and then it trotted away. Again, the dogs were present, but they did not react. And then a few days before that is when the security guard observed the full form of a Native American male, estimated late 50s, inside Homestead 1. No dog reactions, and the dogs were outside of the home.
Wow.
So seemingly, like, just going through some of these, I'm trying not to cough. Hang on a second. So seemingly, with all these reports, they're having this activity, but the dogs aren't reacting. And we all know dogs have super sensitive hearing, smell. Mm-hmm. They have that sixth sense. But for them to not react, that's peculiar in itself, to me. I mean, people take dogs ghost hunting as tools, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, true. Just better senses, heightened senses. Yeah. It's great.
Let's see. A lot of this stuff is like lights flying 5 feet above the ground. I mean, there's a lot of light sightings, and I'm going to throw these up there too, just because I've been to Skinwalker Ranch too. Case note, these are apparently some photos that were captured out at Skinwalker Ranch of some of these light anomalies. I'm just going to share them real quick. These come from the actual Skinwalker Ranch, the Skinwalker Ranch website. This, I'm guessing, is the blue light that they had been seeing. I've seen something similar to this.
Yeah.
There's just yellow lights caught in the tree lines. This one makes me think that this was almost a long exposure shot. Like, it was set up because you can see the stars. This had to be in the dust.
On a sky like that, yes.
Yeah, it's a long exposure shot. Those are some of the light anomalies that they had captured, supposedly at Skinwalker Ranch. Let's see. I know you can go visit the ranch. You can't. I snuck onto the property, camped overnight, and even took a dump there. Hey, alien, it's there. THERE. Come on, man. Come on, man.
God damn it. Just don't get caught, you know.
Imagine getting caught, like, with your pants down, taking a spit.
just drop one on the ranch, just like, well, sorry,
And then,
you caught me.
like the next day, they put it in their observation report. We come across the smelling substance on the ranch. I don't know how it got there.
We found human fecal matter.
It's just
Where'd it come
randomly-
from? We don't know. We had all eyes on this on this ranch, and nobody came on the property. Our things didn't go off. Well, left you a present, I guess.
Security guards fapping to the video.
Jesus.
You guys got the footage of the
wait,
third
Skin
burglar?
Fapper Ranch? That's probably the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, huh? I don't know. I'm just being stupid.
You got security footage of this third burglar? It seems that footage is missing. What happened? I was watching it and I was, let's just say it's gone. Let's just say it's gone.
Just it's been deleted.
For my private personal collection.
Yep.
But let's see. I'm going back further into a lot of these reports too. This one's kind of interesting. One of the security guards reported that they sensed a presence and smelled gunpowder. And his electric compass displayed erratic indications. And again, the dogs were close by and nothing.
Huh.
So this one's actually pretty interesting too because
Are your dogs okay? Like, damn.
yeah, right. So maybe they're inbred. I don't know.
Maybe.
So this one, it says, from the back porch of a trailer, the director of investigations observed a yellow-white single light fall rapidly from approximately 30 degrees above the horizon to 5 degrees above the horizon in approximately 2 seconds. The light appeared to be located just south of the west gate of property, possibly a shooting star or fireworks, as reported by witnesses. So, not a whole lot of information given on that as well.
Yeah.
But like when the director's seeing shit, that's
big.
yeah. Ooh, this would be creepy.
Okay.
If you're out in the woods or out at the thing, one of the guards was doing a walk and heard what sounded like a flapping wing and then a hissing sound.
Ooh.
Like, fuck this.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm out.
No
I'm out,
thanks.
ladies and gentlemen. Those are just some of the reports from the
There
guards
was,
and stuff.
so
Like,
there was
there's
one other instance I was going to talk about real quick that was either the Myers or the Shermans. I can't remember who it happened to, but they came out and there was this wolf, this massive wolf, and I think it was, I can't remember exactly what it was attacking. It was either attacking a dog or it was attacking a cow. I can't remember what it was, but they shot it with 357 like 4 times. Didn't really do anything. Didn't phase it. Didn't yelp. Didn't hurt anything. The 4th hit, it actually like stopped, looked at the person that shot it, and it started running. Well, the farmer's, I think, son or wife showed up with a rifle of some sort, and he shot it from like 20 yards away as the thing was running away, and he shot it, I think, twice. One time it hit it, you could see it hit, didn't phase it, kept running. Shot it another time, and then they saw flesh fly from it. And like, so the flesh was obviously there on the ground. Well, they tracked it, and they tracked it to a spot. They tracked it farther into the just way past the trails, and then eventually the tracks just stopped. There were no more tracks. Weird. Then another weird part is when they came back to observe the flesh. The flesh was like old and rotted and just not what was there, like as fresh as it was or what it should have been. And when they did like the investigators, when they went to him and asked him questions, they showed him different pictures of like different sizes of dog.
Yeah.
And the size that they related it to was a dire wolf.
That's a pretty big wolf.
That's a huge, mind you, dire wolves have been extinct for over 10,000 years. Don't quote me exactly on the time. I'm not 100% sure.
But they're extinct.
But they're extinct for a long time. So, damn. Like,
now on the Skinwalker Ranch website, they have some pictures of some animals that they apparently captured on the ranch.
Yeah.
This one they've labeled the bulletproof wolf. This is supposedly what it was or what they saw. Picture taken at a pretty good distance.
Damn, it looks muscular, that's for sure.
It doesn't even look like a wolf in this picture.
No, it looks like a fox. Looks like a giant fox.
Or a ferret.
That too.
Other pictures they've caught.
It's big though. Like, you could tell it's big. Like, look at the shadow from that sucker.
Other pictures they've caught have been in winter, like this one.
There's a big boy out there.
What's so fascinating about that one is it's dark.
It's black.
Like it looks black. And I don't know if there's like black wolves in Utah.
I don't think there are, but there was one other instance where the wife came home to the gated fence and there was a giant black wolf with 2 dogs at the fence.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This animal looks pretty weird. It looks like it kind of has mange because it looks like a wolf with mange.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sickly. Yeah, with the patches of fur and skin, and
it almost looks like it's got a lion's mane to it just because of the mange.
A little bit
ravaging it. But this one's kind of curious. Makes me think of a mountain lion. It's got that strong tail.
Yeah.
But this one right here, this next one, a little mind-boggling, I think. This one was captured out on the road, of course.
It's an Ewok.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it looks like it's like somebody wearing animal skin.
Yeah,
animal furs.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's Mario in the coon suit. But it appears to be on 2 legs.
It does, like, just kind of like, oh, you caught me.
Midgets running around.
That's it, guys. We solved it. The mystery of the Skinwalker Ranch. Midgets.
It's all midgets. All midgets.
Little people.
Yeah. Did you send me something?
Nope.
Okay.
It was not me.
Okay. So, those were just some of the sightings of animals. Now, they've had some other pictures that are pretty peculiar on there. Like a lot of photos, any paranormal photos, you can pretty much dismiss just because you weren't there, you don't know the conditions, you don't know why they took the picture or what have you. So you just have to take them with a grain of salt. This one here, I kind of believe this is just off of one of their security footage.
It looks like a trail cam.
Yeah.
Except it's not black and white.
I'm guessing they were they didn't know who this figure was.
It's Gandalf.
Anybody? This one, although it's a little bit pixelated, this looks like somebody took it off the TV screen, like a monitor, with the lines. But the cattle mutilation photos and stuff we'll save for the after dark. Now we were talking about UFO sightings out there. There are plenty of pictures of UFOs on the website as well. This one was pretty interesting. It looks like it's closer than it appears in the photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's still blurry.
Yeah. The ground's not as blurry, but the object is blurry. But if the object would be in motion, it would be blurry. Let's see here. Then there's this one. Again, blurry, but it's probably zoomed in and all that crap. Probably a cell phone picture.
It's a Goodyear blimp.
Yeah. But this one, I don't know how I feel about this next one. I mean, it's pretty indicative of a lot of reported sightings, especially in that area,
Oh yeah.
like the California, New Mexico, Arizona.
That place
Utah,
is just a
Nevada.
hotbed of UFO activity.
Well, you got fault lines running through there.
They're charging their ships up as they're slowly hovering over it. Just
Yeah.
gone.
Now, one of the things, because I watched the Blind Frog Ranch, the mystery of Blind Frog Ranch, one of the things that was surprising with that ranch, it's got a lot of similarities to Skinwalker Ranch, and they're fairly close, was they found an element, iridium, that was on the property. And that element usually is associated with a meteorite, like whenever a meteor hits the earth and it hits the ground and it creates this the ground, causes the ground to kind of explode and disperse. But when that happens, the iridium will disperse as well, and it just kind of spreads out. And you can use a UV light to find it, but it shows up blue, and they call it blue dirt. That's what they call it. But when you get enough of it together, it's actually more valuable than gold. Apparently, it's a rare material. So on the Blind Frog Ranch, they surmised that there was a meteor that struck. But places like that ranch, Skinwalker Ranch, I'm not 100% sure, but I think maybe Skinwalker Ranch might be along a fault line. I think this is it's a possible area where there's a fault line. And if that's the case, when you're around the fault line, there's a lot of magnetic energy that is being built up from the Earth itself. RF frequencies will be off the chain. So, like, if UFOs are using energy, using ley lines per se to charge up, wouldn't they be showing up around these fault lines? Maybe that's why there's more sightings out that way.
Was that the stuff that liquefied in his hand?
That was I think no, that was a different metal. That's different metal.
Or what? Like, what are we talking about? What are we referencing here?
What, the iridium?
No, the liquefied metal. What?
Oh, down in the comments. No, the liquefied metal was I want to say it started with a G. It was, so spoiler alert if you want to watch Blind Frog Ranch. Just warning everybody. So they're after Aztec treasure in this cave system. But they found this, like, the cave system is flooded. And they had this old box that was built. The box dated over 500 years old. But inside the box were just a ton of rocks. And the rocks were not from that area. So they took a few rocks out, and they actually broke one of them open. And inside it, these rocks were bored out into a cylinder, and this metal was poured into these rocks. And I guess, I don't know how they would seal it up, but like when they pulled the metal out, the metal was pretty brittle, but like when they put it in their hand, like the hand temperature would melt the metal.
Whoa.
And it was a type of metal that you could only get by smelting. And if it came from the ancient Aztecs, technically smelting didn't really come into existence till about like 150, 200 years ago. So, like, if it was something that was placed by the Aztecs, it predated smelting, but it's a material that could only be smelted. So,
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I don't like a lot of that show. I don't know how much of it is actually, scripted and fake or whatever.
Yeah.
It gets interesting, but like I don't know. I don't know what to make of that show. But in a lot of a lot of the properties activity is very relatable to what's happening on Skinwalker Ranch. Are you okay, my guy?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
That's crazy. I mean, nuts to witness. But so to kind of tie it all together here, since we're coming to our first hour's end, the property was recently sold here back in 2016. I want to say. Was it 2016?
I believe so.
2016. It was acquired by a guy named Brandon Fugel, I guess, and it went for a pretty good chunk of change. It went for, I think, $4.5 million. And Bigelow bought the property for $200,000.
Well, I mean, there's been
But that was like back in '96, so that was 20 years.
Yeah, Brandon Fugel, he's the owner, but he's the chairman of Colliers International in Utah. One of the most prominent businessmen and real estate developers.
Adamantium Real Estate.
So he's always had a fascination with like the paranormal kind of stuff, like the unknown and mysteries and stuff like that. So like, yeah, he was obsessed with Skinwalker Ranch, and I think at the time that he did buy it, Bigelow was done with. Yeah, I guess he got all he wanted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was done with it too.
But
and that's where we have the TV show now. The Secrets of the Skinwalker Ranch. It's this new guy's come in and he's hired a completely new team to do investigations, and it's pretty interesting some of the stuff they do. So I highly recommend you check out the TV show.
I'm going to post the link for the Skinwalker website. If you guys are really interested in Skinwalker Ranch, this is a website that has all the information, has a lot of files on Skinwalker Ranch. So yeah, one thing I did want to kind of talk about also, just go through some of the entities that they have. Oh yeah, have experienced, and then we'll cut the show here. I'll try to rush through these. The first one is a spotlight. The spotlight has been seen out on the mesa, which is part of the mountain range that kind of overlooks the ranch. Usually they'll see it from 10 to 15 seconds. And as far as a frequency, like a chance of seeing it, about 46% of the time you'll see it if you go looking for it. They have flash drones, which are basically these pulsating spherical balls of light. They'll appear bluish or yellow-green. And the light it casts is not extremely bright, but it will cast light on objects immediately surrounding the orb. They've witnessed it from 1 minute even up to 45 minutes. For 45 minutes seeing these lights. That's crazy to think of. They've seen invisible choppers. Well, didn't see them. They've heard them coming from the south and flying north. So whether or not that's, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of government stuff that's going back and forth. They've seen these mini stealth bombers, like mini ones. They say they're roughly 8 feet long by 6 feet wide.
Jeez.
Yeah. Let's see. The Bulletproof Wolf, you talked about that.
Yep.
They've got what they call the controllers. The controllers are what sounds like two adult males speaking to one another in an unknown language. These two males are typically invisible and usually overheard speaking about 20 feet above someone's head. They are speaking in a Native American dialect. The assumption is that they are speaking about the individuals below them. They sound as if they are speaking through a walkie-talkie, or a voice would sound like through a radio. They appear to coincide with the flyover of the invisible chopper. They were heard speaking to one another after the chopper had flown over. And usually they hear it for about 1 minute duration. They have what they call the Traveler, which is the ancient-looking native man dressed in primitive attire. He and his tribe once lived on the Skinwalker Ridge cliffs, supposedly, and under the canyons just northeast of the ranch, where their bodies are rumored to be buried. It appears both physically and has been seen transforming into animals, but also has the ability to visit the witness at home and appear to them while placing them in a trance-like state. He can also be channeled via Ouija board formats. They have what they call the Dark One, described by both past residents to the ranch and witnessed by current researchers who had close encounters. This figure seems out of place with the bizarre alien nature of the phenomena. He is described as male, always being alone, and appears to be a primitive Native American. They say it's possible Fremont or Pueblo, and possible Aztec in origin. Does not speak, appears to be residing outside of their known timeline, and even appears surprised at times. There's a little girl that has been heard in the past. She's not heard frequently. So there's that. Water babies. They're like they're known to the local Ute natives as paw picks. This entity commonly inhabits the surrounding waterways. They can be recognized by their vocalizations, which mimic the sound of a crying human baby. Which that shit would freak me out.
Yeah, no thanks.
Like, yep. If I heard that, man, I'd be like, oh, fuck this. Not helping that baby. They've heard angels singing out there. They said it's a very rare occurrence. They have what's called glow birds. They said it reminds investigators of a flock of red glowing birds. May actually be birds with odd bioluminescent properties or radiation, maybe. Typically seen around treetops, and also lights illuminating the individual objects. All turn on or off in unison. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
There's so much more. We'll just go into some of these on the After Dark, because there's much more to the descriptions that I'd like to get into. So
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking wild.
All right, guys. That's all we got for today. We just kind of ransacked and bumbled through it, but it's information you may have not known about Skinwalker Ranch.
Mainly, yeah, stories, weird things that have happened, the ownership changes, the continuation investigations of Skinwalker Ranch. Like, there's a bunch of weird stuff. The entities there, yeah. Like, I didn't really see a way of organizing of how to do this. It was just kind of...
No.
It's kind of like how the documentary goes. They don't really have like a way of organizing it. They just start with, the old footage, certain things, and then like one of the very last things they get into is like all the cattle mutilations and the horrible like. Yeah. So it's wild, but
it's like even
if
the
you want to hear more. Yeah, exactly. If you want to hear more though, Boogeyman Radio.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/Boogeyman Radio. Sign up. It's at the beginning of the month. You'll get a full month here for $2.49. Still cheaper than a gallon of gas.
Yep.
Still cheaper.
In this economy? What?
All right, guys. We appreciate you joining us for this episode.
Thank you so much.
If you're not joining us on the Patreon, we'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. And, be good. Stay out of trouble.
Stay weird.
Don't be pooping on other people's property. You know who I'm talking about.